I was a fan of the Kaiser Chiefs on record. I've seen their gigs, and the one thing that Ricky has when he's working with the Kaiser Chiefs is a command of the audience. He just has them eating out of his hand. They're with him from the moment he walks on. And the character of the artilleryman is something not dissimilar. He has to command and convince people that there will be this brave new world underground, even though on the side it's really just a little hole at the moment. So I was fortunate, and again, it's sort of like Liam. I didn't know he knew the album or had a copy of it. It turned out when I first met Ricky, he came over to my studio and to talk about it, and he said, "I've got to tell you, my father had a copy of the album. Whenever we go on holidays, long trips, that was the album he used to put on all the time. It was the perfect length." He said, "So I've grown up knowing your album, and I think I could be the artilleryman." And this was only going to be on the New Generation recording. We worked together, did the recording, and he was fantastic on it. And as I got to know him more, I was convinced that he could do this on the tour if he was interested. And it turned out that the Kaiser Chiefs are going through a massive tour, but they finished in time to have a break where, by good fortune, it spans the period we're going to be touring. Ricky was really up for the whole idea of trying to create the Artilleryman live on stage in this whole extravaganza. And it came about from that. So it was just working with him. We got on great, and I think he's going to be fantastic. If I look back, be it the album or certainly every production, it's usually people whose work I admire, and so I try to get to them. Either in some cases I might know them or know somebody who knows them, or you just go directly to a representative of theirs, an agent, a manager, some way to place yourself in front of them and to tell them about the War of the Worlds, my work. There's a role in it that I think you'd be great for. Would you consider doing it? Some of them see it, get it immediately, some even know it, and we form a cast from that, those who are keen and interested and available. I've met with several people over the years who said, "I'd love to be involved, but I've got my own album, my own tour," and it just crosses right over the period that you're touring. So we've gotten close with a few wonderful artists, but not enough to have secured them. But so far, it's been a pretty good bunch of artists that have signed on. I had another work out called Spartacus. Came out in '92. It was 6 or 7 years ahead of Gladiator and Braveheart. Had a great cast on it: Anthony Hopkins, Catherine Zeta-Jones, Ladysmith Black Mambazo, and it didn't get the acceptance that the War of the Worlds did. Part of it was timing, part of it was a certain area of the creative interpretation, but Sony have asked me to revisit it, so that is one of the things I'm going to do, because it's an amazing story. It's a true story. It took me 3 years to research it before I started to even compose. And it's a visual story, and it would lend itself to another big arena tour. But I'm going to rework it again with fresh ears and keep that which did work really well, and restructure and do things that I think will make it work in today's terms. So that's one that exists. But I grew up with a story by Jack London called The Call of the Wild, set in the Alaskan Gold Rush period. It's a story of man's ability to survive in the wilderness with wolves and all sorts of animals in the wild, as well as the dogs that lead the sleighs and how they relate to their masters. And the War of the Worlds is alien over human, or human over alien. Spartacus is master over slave. The Call of the Wild is man over the environment, and very current in our world of ecology and all that goes with it. So those are the three. I'll see how far I get with all three of them. There's still I've got a lot of interests in those three projects in different ways. I don't look for, in the sense of commercial stories. I look for something that I can just honestly approach and hope that it resonates. And so I'm looking forward to revisiting Spartacus. And I actually started composing the call a while, but the tours have kept coming in, the new generation recording of the War of the Worlds. I've been working on them about 14 months now. So I've been living and breathing Martians again, but I hope that I will have the time to come back to the other two. Come along, see our show. Look out for the album, but no, just enjoy.